I think it's one of the biggest advantages in the platform. Your benefits are the fact that you'll be able to actually invest in real estate, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to. Biggest advantages to be able to pool your resources and your time and your energy, your knowledge, your network.
I used to chase the ROI all the time, return on investment. And over the course of time, that has evolved into what I call return on life. Welcome here, everyone, and welcome back to the Return on Life podcast. I've got a great guest here, and so much of life is about return of investment. This is who I've been. This is the space I've lived in. But at some point, I realized that return on investment wasn't maybe as important as return on life, at least putting that first and foremost. And then, of course, the return on investment comes as well. And today's guest, Jonathan Faerman, is an awesome guest for this purpose of return on life and return on investment. Jonathan is founder of Investium and the president as well. And Jonathan brings a great experience, knowledge, understanding of how to put complex things into simple terms. He's got an MBA, a master's in machine learning, and he is actually kind of new to Canada. And of course, we're in Canada. So Jonathan, why don't you share a little bit about yourself, where you've moved from and where you live today, and then we'll dive into this great platform that you call Investium.
Thank you very much, Randy, for having me here. I'm super excited about this. Thank you very much. So like you said, I'm originally from Argentina, and I moved to Canada around 12 years ago. The reason why I came here is to have I would say a different life. So we mentioned the return on life. I think I started like a different life here. Great experience. I would say moving countries, it's very difficult, but it could be very rewarding at the same time. I keep in touch with everyone in my hometown in Buenos Aires, where I'm from. So yeah, it's been an exciting journey to be here.
Yeah, and the return on life didn't involve Investium at that point. It was just coming to a new country. And as you know, the one thing that you cannot stop is change, and change is always happening. And you took a really big move on that thing called change coming to Canada. Now, did you go directly to Montreal?
Yeah, this was my first and only stop. I had the chance to go around a bit in the country. Loved everything. I've been a bit into the Maritimes, Ontario. I think I haven't actually passed. I went to Calgary a couple of times. Yeah. So yeah, I was able to visit quite a bit.
And you settled in Montreal. Well, that's really great. Return on life, and I just want to make sure that I understand this. So you moved to Canada to create a new life, a better life, or just a new experience?
I would say a new experience, just to have a different experience, be able to see things with different eyes, broaden the mind, right? Sometimes you need to look at things in different perspectives to know what is possible. It certainly was very rewarding in that way. I was able to do things that I wasn't able to do before, travel a bit, start my own company now, be able to invest, form a family. I don't think be independent. I don't think I was able to do all those things back in Argentina. So definitely it was a very nice experience.
And with that, you've come to a new country, and then you go, oh my goodness, I need to find a place to live. And this is a challenge for all of us, with prices continuing to move up, interest rates moving up right now, everything's a little bit more challenging. You came to Canada and you started the process of where I would land and live, and you found Montreal. And then the process of actually securing your first home, was that a challenge, or was that something easy for you to do? And then how did Investium or evolve, I should say, out of that?
Yeah, so I think I bought my condo, I would say now perhaps 8 or 9 years ago. So at that time it was definitely easier. It was downtown Montreal, an area that was up and coming, so it wasn't really hot back then. There was very little there, but there was a lot of construction, so I bought on like on plan. So my condo, I was able to buy it quite affordably, so that was nice. Then I got married, I started to grow my family, and it was time to move a bit to the suburbs. Um, then again, I bought my house, I kept my condo, and I started renting it. And that's how I became like a real estate investor and a real estate enthusiast. That was my first contact with it. It was an interesting first experience renting out my condo. The day after I signed, the tenant told me he wasn't going to be able to pay. So that was very interesting. That was at the beginning of the pandemic. So we worked it out. That was good. So we reached an agreement and everything went okay at the end. And how Investium came to this, then I sold my condo and I was ready to grow, right? To buy something bigger, but I didn't want to do it alone. I knew that the time commitment was big. Also, it wasn't affordable anymore. So I wanted to do it with partners. And I realized there wasn't an easy way to meet partners for this.
Mm.
I didn't want to do it with friends and family, and I couldn't just meet people to do it. So that's why I said, well, this is a problem that a lot of people is having. A lot of people, they want to invest in real estate. Not everyone has the money, the knowledge, the time, the skills. There's so much that goes into it. And I had met my wife online before. So I said, okay, well, there might be something here. If you can meet a partner for life, why not a partner for business? And that's how I created Investium. I hired local talent in Montreal, something I'm very proud of.
Mhm.
Got a couple of investors myself that I believed in the vision, and then that's how I created Investium as a free platform where people they can meet to buy a property together, and it's completely free to use, and it's been live for a bit less than a year now.
Okay, 1 year live. Now let's talk a little bit about partners because I've been in many partnerships. I've invested in hundreds of properties. I have had different partners, some awesome, some not so great, not so awesome. How do you vet the partnership process? And you talked about dating and finding your wife online, and there's a vetting period, there's a dating period, there's a courting period. How do you date, vet, court an investor?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are a couple of things that we do from the platform, and there are a couple of things that the user, the investor needs to do, right? The couple of things we do from the platform is when you sign up for the platform, we'll do a two-step verification with kind of like the best of the industry standards. When you sign up, you can validate your identity using a government ID and the selfie. Again, state of the art thing. We use a third party provider for that. You can, as a user, you can flag shady behavior from other people, and from the platform, I will ban those users. Those are things to protect the investors.
Mhm.
Also, when you create your account, it takes 2 minutes. You will answer 5 questions, more or less. These 5 questions, you will ask you what are your investment preferences instead of what will be your ideal partner for life. Well, what will be your ideal partner for a business, and what kind of property are you looking for? What kind of investment strategy? What kind of property? um, the budget, for example. So we will use those things to match you with someone, and for all the people to be able to find you more easily. So those are the kind of things we can do from the platform to be able to match you with the right person, to make sure that the people in there are serious, because they went through that process. So that those are kind of those are the things we are doing now. And then some of the things that the user needs to do is, the first of all, it's just start a conversation. Some of the things I realize is about numbers. It's a numbers game. The more you talk with people, the easier it will be to find the one, right? If you only speak with one and you go into business with the first person you talk to, it's a gamble. But the more you speak with people, the more you meet them, the more you realize what are their intentions, and you also need to realize what are your intentions, what is that
Mhm.
you want to take out of it. Equally important.
Mhm.
And the last thing I would say, a tip, how to vet people, is to go from small commitments to big commitments. There are things that you can do prior to commit to a big investment, which is to commit to smaller things, like do a research or visit a professional, or for example, speak with a lawyer to draft a partner agreement, and it will have some cost. So if the other person is not willing to sign a document, spend a couple $100 speaking with professionals, then right away you know that is not a serious partner for you. So those are several steps you can take
Mhm.
to make sure that the other person is serious.
Okay. Um, so I've done much investing, and this term accredited investor comes up all the time. Uh, do you need to be an accredited investor to participate in this program?
No, you don't have to be an accredited investor. Um, Mainly because first, Investium is a platform that will put you in contact with other people. It's a communication platform. Investium, that's ourselves, us. We don't propose projects. We don't invite people to invest in projects. I think that's where it comes the accredited
Right.
investor part. We don't do that.
Okay.
It's just a platform that facilitates people to get in contact with each other. So some people they may need it if you have developers, for example, that will come with projects. Then some of them may need the other party to be an accredited investors, but there are many other situations in which people they just meet and they don't require to be that.
Okay, okay, that's a good point. So you're not sourcing properties or projects or developments. You are more or less bringing people together in
Correct,
community, and
correct,
then
correct,
they get to sort through the community to see who is most aligned with them on
correct.
all things, and from there they then can go and source their own properties.
That is correct. So we don't take part in the transaction. The transaction doesn't take part in Investium. We don't take any equity. There are no money exchanged in Investium. That needs to happen with notaries or lawyers, depending the province or the state. So we just enable people. We give them the tools to collaborate together, to work together, to have a safe space where they can discuss in one-on-one or in a group, and then they can use different listing services or off-market services to find the properties that they would like to purchase.
Okay. Do you have referral partners, preferred partnerships with let's say realtors or mortgage brokers or anything along the lines of investing in property?
Yeah, so something we are doing right now is we're creating a team. That's something I think that I like the concept of a team. Like for someone to invest in real estate, you know it better, much better than me. You need a team of people to help you, right?
Hmm.
And you mentioned the kind of team that you need. You need a real estate professional, you need a mortgage broker, you will need a lawyer. If you are very new to this, you may need someone even to coach you and to guide you into this. So we are creating this team that will be able to help you. So they are not there. It, they're there to help you move forward with your project. So you just in a click of a button, you will see the people that you need. You will just call them, send them a message to themselves, and they will be able to help you. So those are the kind of partnerships that we have. But then other people, for example, developers, that's something that already happened. Developers or more experienced real estate investors, they will have a project and they can go create an account and create a group, an investment group, and they can invite others to join them. Say, okay, like I want to invest, or I have this investment going on. Do you want to join me? And then you can join them in a group. It is a private investment group,
Hmm.
and you can discuss the details with that developer or investor or your partners.
This is awesome. And are you across Canada, across the United States, across the world? Where's your platform being used right now?
So it's expanding from, we started in Quebec, that's where I am. So we started here. The majority of the investors are currently in Quebec, and it's currently expanding. We have in Ontario, I've seen some coming from the West Coast as well. So
Hmm.
it's starting to be more Canada wide. And then I've seen some traffic coming from other countries, the US or some places in Europe, but that's not the strong point. I would say Canada is still the main place.
Okay. And maybe a couple of the biggest benefits, the two, three benefits I think you've touched on, but just to make sure that our listeners understand, really clearly the 2 or 3 best benefits that the platform offers them.
For sure. So I think the first one is to be able to scale and to grow your portfolio. So with scale comes more profitability. By myself, perhaps I can only buy a condo, but suddenly with 3 or 4 other people, we can buy something much bigger, 12 units, 18 units, 24 units, depending the place. And that obviously with that scale comes profitability. That's number one, to be able to scale. Number two, I would say knowledge transfer and learning. So if I'm a very amateur investor, I'm just starting, I will be able to be placed or matched, and I will be able to do business with very experienced investors. So I will be able to learn from them for free. That I think is one of the biggest advantages in the platform. Other benefits are the fact that to be able to actually invest in real estate, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to. Those I would say the 2 3 biggest advantages to be able to pool your resources and your time and your energy, your knowledge, your network with other people.
And a word I heard in that was free. So you're talking about, free information, knowledge, the sharing of one another's thoughts and ideas and mindset. What about the platform? Does the platform have a fee or is it free? What's the cost to be on the platform?
The platform is completely free, so it doesn't cost anything to create an account. It's like, let's say LinkedIn, you create an account, it's completely free for the users to be there. There's no charge.
Well, that's fantastic. That is really, really awesome. How do you continue to maintain it? How do you keep it running if it's free? Or are you getting referral fees or
That's an
marketing
excellent question.
advertising?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So the reason why it's free, it's because the mission is to lower the barriers of entry to real estate. And I find if I suddenly create like a monthly membership fee or something like that, then a lot of people won't do it and it won't add value to
Mm.
anyone if that's the case. So that's why it is free. For now, it's being bootstrapped through the investors. So we are obviously financing it. And in the future, the idea is to bring value through ads. There are, I think, multiple, and I've been in contact with many developers or big investors that will be very interested, and other parties as well, very interested to have access to investors and put in front of them specific deals based on their criteria, based on their preferences. So that's more for the future.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like, and what I understand is you're creating something that's really going to be a bulletproof way for investors to continue to grow their portfolio, even if they're only holding a small percentage, but they're connecting with the right people. Really, really love this. Um, Maybe some background, like in Argentina, did some of this thinking, some of this mindset of building this come from your life in Argentina or your family background, or was this just something that was fostered and built out of landing in a new country and going, gosh, how do I make my life work here? I've got this idea. Let's go with it. Was there some background to it, or was it all part of
Um,
the move to Canada?
I'm thinking about that to see if there was something coming from them from there. I don't think so. I think it's something that really was created here. The way people access real estate in Argentina is very different than from here. Um, so I think it comes really from I moved here, new ideas, new ways of thinking about things, seeing how here a lot of things are possible. And I would say anything it's possible. You just need to find a way to do it, work hard, meet the right people, and then things are possible. And I think that's the rationale, right? Just need to meet the right people, you work hard, and you're able to achieve things. And I think that's what's behind all of this.
Yeah. Any doubt along the way building this platform?
Oh, of course. Okay, every week. Uh, so at the beginning, of course, when I wanted to get some investors to help me to get it started, I knocked on many doors, and I got a lot of people saying no, I'm not interested, until I found some people that they believed in the vision. and then they came along. So that was the first part. Then building the product itself, it has some parts that are more interesting, like when you deciding what are going to be the features, where things are going to go. That's super nice to see. But then you need to build it, and there are delays, and there are challenges. So again, there are doubts there, and then it comes the hardest point, which is getting users to join. And then of course there are a lot of doubts there, but then the things that keeps me going is the feedback of people. When I speak about the Investium, they say, oh, it's a great idea, I can see myself using it, and then people joining, and I speak with the users that they join the platform, and they tell me, oh, this is a great idea, thank you very much for building this. Seeing the activity, those things are the kind of things that keep me going.
Hmm, that's really, really awesome. Do you have any numbers that you can share with us? And maybe it's confidential, I'm not sure, but just the number of people that have actually engaged that are now building partnerships, working together, buying properties. I don't know if there's any numbers you want to share at this point. I know you're a fairly new, young company, but
Yeah,
it's always
yeah. So
encouraging
something
to
I
hear
can tell
numbers.
you, yeah, a couple of numbers that I can share is like the number of users that supports the hundreds. That's something I'm very happy to be able to see how it's going up, and we doubled the number of users from the last summer.
Wow.
Uh, so that's very nice to see. So it's very
Mhm.
new, like you said. So there is an incredible room to grow. But seeing how seeing the uptake and how people they register to use, some of the things that I'm seeing that are very encouraging is when people see a podcast, for example, or they read about Investium, when they visit the website, they really subscribe. So this subscribe rate is very, very high, which tells me that it's something that people likes.
Hmm.
So those are a couple of numbers I can share.
That's awesome, Jonathan. Jonathan, on my podcast, we dive deep into mindset often and philosophy and things like that, which I know you've listened to a couple of podcasts. And one of them that I often talk about is our why, and our why, needs to make us come alive every day. We need to use our superpowers. Uh, we need to add great value to others. And then what's the legacy we're leaving behind? That to me is the definition of why, if we can fit that in. Has your why changed because of your platform? Has your why changed because of your experiences over the last, 8, 9, 10 years of being in Canada?
Yeah, definitely it changed. Something that I and what that's one of the reasons why I created Investium. It's to actually be able to do something. Sometimes we go through life, you can say, and you see things happening, and you say, oh, I could do this, but then you don't do it, and then you see something else, oh, I could do this, and then you don't do it. So in this case, I actually wanted to do something, wanted to build something, wanted to have this relationship with people, wanted to, yeah, to do something by myself, for myself, by myself, um, help others, build those connections, those relationships, get out of my comfort zone. I really wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very bad at networking, for example. That's something I wanted to improve, and I had pushed myself to do it, to get out of my comfort zone. So in that sense, yeah, I've seen an evolution. I've seen how the why changed
Mm-hmm.
along the way.
And your MBA and machine learning, masters in that. Um, are you still busy working in another field as well? And this is your side hustle, or is this your main hustle? What?
Yeah, this is a main hustle. I have another job to pay the bills and to help me build this, but I consider this like a second full-time job, if you want.
Yeah.
This is not something you can really do on the side like that. I consider like a full thing.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so I've learned a lot doing it.
Yeah. Let's speak to the investor a little bit. I'm sure we've got some investors here that are afraid, they're cautious, they think they don't have enough money, they don't have enough expertise, knowledge, um, and maybe they've had a bad experience. I mean, after selling real estate for 32 years and helping thousands and thousands of people buy, there's bad experiences and people are just gun shy. What can you share with them, or maybe even an experience, a story of maybe somebody that was in that position, but through Investium have, I guess, maybe fought through or got the courage to do it again, or have had some success?
Yeah, I can tell you a real story. Someone I spoke with about an investment, something, one of the elements that you touch, which is I don't have enough money
Mm,
and I don't know about this. So those are things that are very recurrent. And this real story, I spoke with someone and he wanted to invest. He had a big project, and this person was not a first time investor. He had a couple of buildings, and he had an opportunity to go for another one. So but he was maxed out in all his lines of credits. That's it. But he was missing a bit, only a bit of money to be able to invest. This was prior to Investium, and he told me I would be very happy to just give out some equity to be able to have the project to go ahead with the project. And that's something that a lot of people, they when they have the fear of, oh, I don't have 500,000 $1 million to invest in real estate, I don't know how. Well, there on the other side you have a lot of investors that they have the project almost finalized, that they just need a bit of capital. They have the experience, they have the knowledge, they are very happy to share it with others. They are there as well. So you have both. It's just starting the conversation.
mm,
So I would say how to go about it is you just need to start the conversation. Everything seems very distant. Seems very distant. The mountain is very tall. The only thing you need to do is just to go with the first step. You give the first step. You should say hi, and that's it. Hi, my name is Randy. Hi, my name is Jonathan. This is what I want to do. Do you think there is something we can do together here?
mhm.
And that's it. And things, they start to happen. I've seen it.
Yeah, over the years, I've found that it's not always about not having money. Sometimes it's having gobs and gobs of money, but they're unsure, they're shy about how to do it. They don't have the expertise or skill. And then there's somebody that has no money, but has tons of skill and ability. And so I've often seen, these individuals come together and build a beautiful partnership as well. So there's just so many ways to make this work, and it all starts with a conversation. It is all about a conversation.
Yeah.
So true, so true. Where do you see Investium being in 1, 3, 5, maybe even 10 years out? Can you think that far ahead, or maybe you've thought that far ahead?
Wow. 10 years? No, I've thought like less than 10 years. 10 years, I haven't gotten there.
Interesting,
S-
Jonathan. Somebody asked me that question the other day. Hey, what are your 10-year goals? And it stopped me in my tracks because I think we often think of 1, 3, and maybe 5.
Maybe five.
I'd never put a lot of energy into 10 years, and it
Yeah.
really made me think. So here's the question. Where are you going to be in 10 years?
Oh my God. So something what I want to do. So let's talk about short term, long term. So short term, bring more users so it can help everyone. I think the more users we are, the better for everyone, the more value it adds. That's the short term, 1 year, 3 years. And then let's talk about, let's say, 5 years. It's adding more value, bringing to other geographies. More value. I think there's a lot of things that we can do for investors, for users, to help them with their accounting, with their legal papers, especially if they're going to go in partnerships. There's so many things that you need to do and think that we are not experts on, and that they can really use help giving, I don't know, simple things, templates with or spreadsheets to calculate the profitability of a property, for example, templates for a partnership agreement, for example, or like checklist of things to look for in a new property, in a partner, look when looking for financing. All these things, there is a lot of value that we can provide to users to help them in their journey of real estate investment. That would be, I would say, in the medium term. And in the long term, I would like to be able to source and provide some projects and bring projects closer to investors. Perhaps shift away from just buying things that people that would typically would like to buy a multifamily. But I think when you bring that many people together, then you can start to think about, well, let's start developing, right? And I think that's where we add a ton more value. Housing in Canada, it's something that it's missing. That's not a secret. So I think if we can shift that mentality from building a multifamily to develop buildings, I think it will help everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is an incredible need to streamline the process, and the process is bringing people together as well. But government seems to really know how to put a lot of roadblocks in place, even though they want something built or they want some action taken. They often make it really, really difficult. So this should help free up some of that as well. You're a brilliant, smart guy. Like I'm really getting a lot out of this. Is this your biggest idea, or do you have some other big ideas that you think can either fulfill real estate investing or needs, or is there something else you're working on?
That's a great question. I think for now, we always have things in our minds. I come from the field of using data, so when I see data, I start to analyze it and dissecting it from multiple perspectives, seeing what kind of things are more profitable, or what are things are worth it, what are the geographies. But I also, something I learned is that we also need to focus. So for the time being, I'm really focusing on Investium to see it grow, to help it grow. But perhaps combining multiple things into one and bringing it here, that might be also a possibility.
Hmm. Many of the listeners on Return to Life podcast are real estate agents, but we have lots of non-agents as well that listen in. Uh, for the real estate agents, your perspective on how this benefits an agent, or how an agent can get involved to not only, I guess, help some of your users, but help you. Is there something that we as agents can help you with?
Absolutely. That's it. That's actually a great question. That's a great question. Thank you for bringing it up. So
Mm.
something that the real estate agents they can do to help their clients, to help Investium, to help themselves, is bringing sometimes, for example, the properties that they have. Let's say it's a multifamily that works very well with multifamily properties, to Investium and create, for example, a group. The way it works in Investium, when you create an account, you will join the platform, and you will see users and you will see groups. If you don't see a group that interests you, you can create your own group, right? Saying, okay, I want to create a group to buy a property, a multifamily property, a triplex in Toronto, for example, something like that. Doesn't matter. So let's imagine there are real estate agents and you have a client that is trying to sell a triplex. Well, you can very well bring it in there and trying to find people that would be interesting in partnering to buy a triplex. So that way your client is able to sell a triplex. Investors, they find the property and they can be together to sell it. The real estate agent can fulfill his duty, let's say, and earn his commission. Let's be honest. That works very well. On the other side, let's imagine you are a real estate agent and you're working with a client that wants to buy a triplex. By himself, he may not qualify because he doesn't have the money. Nowadays, with the interest rates, a lot of people, they don't qualify the stress tests. So you can bring that possibility to invest. You say, okay, well, I want, and perhaps you've seen a property as a real estate agent, you see the properties. So imagine you've seen the property, you can bring that as a project in Investium, say, hey, okay, I have one partner, I'm missing two others. Would you like to also come on board with us to buy this property? As a real estate agent, again, you may be able to help your client, and you may be able to win two other clients that in perhaps 2-3 years they can buy another property altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are many opportunities for win-win scenarios here for real estate professionals as well.
Mm-hmm. And this is primarily for the buy side, where you're bringing people together to go out and buy a property, invest in a property. Do you have plans to put in a sell side? So here I am, I'm part of your platform. I'm also looking to invest with others, but I have maybe a property or two that I'm also looking to maybe sell. Can I bring those to the platform and just put them out to your members?
You can do it. There's absolutely no restrictions here. On purpose, I left the property very open, to cover all these multiple use cases. There are use cases that I know. There are use cases that I don't know. People are very creative, so they find different ways of using platforms like this. So this is actually a possibility. As a real estate agent, you can bring those opportunities and you can message people, say, hey, looks like you are looking like a property like this in this area. Are you interested in coming on board on this project?
Very, very good. The doubt the default. Original thinkers doubt the default, and you're an original thinker because the default. This is not the default, so that's fantastic. There are other platforms out there now. I think they're maybe not your competitor. Maybe tell me if they are your competitor. But there's like Addy, Nexus Crowd, Willow, Buy Properly. These are a little different in the way that they work. They have properties that you can come in and then invest in the property, correct? And you're mostly just connecting people together to go out and now do something together.
Correct. I see there are two main differences. The first one is they already offered you the property, and the second one is that you buy a tiny share of that property.
Yes.
So you're not really a real estate owner, right? I think what people they want is direct ownership. They want to own the brick and they want to see that grow and have more and more and more and grow their portfolio. I don't think that is the attractiveness. I think they serve a purpose because then they allow you to invest with $1,000 or so, which you cannot buy any kind of property with $1,000. But I don't think it's for the same people. Someone that wants to own real estate and take advantage fully of owning real estate, then it doesn't serve the same purpose.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Really, really good point. I really appreciate how you shared that and explained that. And to be a significant owner, not just a 0.5% owner in something, or in some cases, not even a 0.5%.
Yeah.
I guess you can drive by that building and go, hey, I'm an owner in that building, but really, are you? So I think this is a really cool platform, and there's a place for them all. That's the cool thing. There is a place for them all. So I love your concept as well. Curiosity and imagination drive so much of what we do, and it's two of the greatest gifts that we're given as children: curiosity and imagination. It looks like you're continuing to be a child at heart and in mind because you've created something really cool out of nothing, essentially. How important is curiosity and imagination to you on a daily basis?
I would say one of the most important things for what I do. I think if you don't have curiosity and imagination, I think you don't go far as an entrepreneur, definitely. And in the line of business where I am, where you need to look at data, analyze it, because people they don't tell you what you need to do. You need to figure out by yourself. And every problem is a bit different. So you need that imagination. Okay, how do I tackle this problem? And in terms of the curiosity is, no one asks you the right questions. You need to figure out what are the questions you need to answer, right? So that comes the curiosity. Okay, how do I explore this? How can this be explored? And I think as an entrepreneur, you need that, because otherwise you stay in your housing, in your couch, and you don't do anything. So as soon as you have curiosity, like how can I do things and how can I do them, like in which multiple ways, that's imagination. So main characteristics.
Yeah. How is my curiosity?
Your curiosity, I would say 10 on 10.
Awesome. Well, that is one of the things that I really work on. It seems so simple yet so hard to keep your curiosity, peaking at a high level, and then allowing your imagination to run kind of wild. But that's what we do as young children. But somehow we get to we put it in a box and kind of park it on a shelf. So I love being curious and using my imagination. What a wonderful, wonderful way of sharing what you're doing, and I really, really appreciate that. I've got a bit of a speed round. Are you ready for a speed round?
Oof, that I didn't know. Yeah, for sure. Let's go for it.
Okay, not too tough. I do this with every guest, so there's no right or wrong answer. No right or wrong answer. So, Jonathan, and by the way, do you have children at this point? I didn't ask you that.
I have 2 kids.
2 kids. Awesome. How old are they?
4 and 2.
Oh, beautiful ages. Beautiful ages. Okay, so You're at home and you're wondering, well, should we go for fine dining, Uber Eats, drive-through, or a home-cooked meal? What are you doing?
With two young kids, fine dining is out completely. So I would go with home cooking.
Awesome, awesome. I love home cooking too. What do you do to let your hair down? You've got a day, you don't need to deal with anything, business is rolling along. What do you do for fun?
I would say I like going out with either family to a park, spending some time outside. I would say spending time outside. Let's call it like that. Spending time outside, I really enjoy doing that.
Okay. Have you been back to your homeland recently?
I've been lucky enough. I've been able to go back to Argentina multiple times. The last time was beginning of last year, and I'm planning to go later this year as well.
Awesome. You must miss home.
I do. I miss the food. I miss the people. When it's winter here, I miss the weather as well.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite band?
I don't listen to much music, to be honest. I would go with, let's say, Depeche Mode, because I like the music from the 80s.
Awesome. Text, talk, or in person?
I would say it depends on what, but I would go with in person.
Audible or book?
Book.
Last question, trick question. If you were a scratch and sniff sticker, so if I came and rubbed your shoulder and you were a scratch and sniff sticker, what would you smell like?
Oh my God, that's a tough one. Let's go with apple.
Something with apple, okay.
Yeah.
You like apples
I like apples. I don't know. I was thinking of an apple crumble. Let's go with that.
Apple crumble with cinnamon. Oh, I like that. Awesome, awesome. Hey, Jonathan, thank you so much for joining me here on the Return on Life podcast, where it's not about the ROI. And you are certainly creating return on life for many, many people when they can invest, they can find a partner, whether it be across the country or down the street. And so you're really bringing a ton of value to many, many people. So thanks for being a great guest on the Return on Life podcast.
Thank you so much for giving me the space, Randy. It's been a pleasure.
Right on. Thank you, Jonathan.